Hello, hello. What's up? It is October the 14th, 2025. Wow. This year is just about gone. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you would, please share this video. President Trump is on top of the world. President Trump has done the unthinkable. And of course, instead of the radical leftist lunatic liberals saying, thank you, President Trump, you did a great job. We were asking for a ceasefire. We were asking for the war to end, President Trump. You listened and you delivered. Instead of them saying that, they want to take the credit from President Trump. They want to say that someone else did it. I've already seen memes giving Obama credit. I've already seen memes giving Joe Biden credit. I've already seen memes giving credit to people we don't even know. They just don't want to give any credit to President Trump, no matter what. Trump didn't do it, according to the radical left lunatic liberals. No matter what, Trump didn't do it. If President Trump came and had the cure to all illnesses, the Democrats would try to find some kind of way to discredit it. They're trying to find some kind of way to say it's not true, some kind of way to try to take it away from President Trump. Kind of like they did the Nobel Peace Prize. Same thing that they did with the Nobel Peace Prize. They took it away from President Trump, knowing good and well it should have gone to him. Even the lady that received it in Venezuela, she dedicated it to President Trump. She says, she's saying, I don't even know why they gave this to me when you have someone like President Trump doing what he's doing. And it's clear as day, that President Trump should have received the Nobel Peace Prize. But the Democrats have took it upon themselves to say, nope, President Trump doesn't get it. President Trump shouldn't get anything. Why? Because President Trump is the only one after 3,000 years. And President Trump made that statement yesterday. He made the statement earlier yesterday. After 3,000 years, peace in the Middle East. And guess who's upset about it? Remember, they all kept screaming. Ceasefire, ceasefire. They were all screaming it. Ceasefire, ceasefire. We need a ceasefire. Every single day. They were all out there marching with their flags. They were all out there protesting. They were not allowing Jewish students to go to class because they were all screaming ceasefire. So now we got a ceasefire. Guess what? Not a single thank you. Not a single, oh my goodness, this is what we've been asking for. Not a single one of them. See, they never actually wanted a ceasefire. These leftist organizations, these leftist groups, all of them, you know what they wanted? They wanted the Antichrist to do it. Seriously. These people, they wanted the Antichrist to be the one to come in and stop all of this activity that they were seeing with Hamas, with Israel. They wanted the Antichrist to do it. And the Antichrist still could come on this, well, not still could. The Antichrist is still coming. And when the Antichrist shows up, all of these leftist Democrats, every last one of them, they're going to say, oh, here's the one who actually solved everything, who actually brought the peace. See, the Antichrist is just like all the Democrats and everything else, going to piggyback off of someone doing something good. Hence the name Antichrist, piggybacking off of Christ. I mean, that's all this is. So when someone does something positive in the world, just like President Trump does something positive, the Democrats jump in there to try to take credit for it. Kind of like when President Trump brought down the price of insulin and then it actually went through when Joe Biden was there, took credit for it. The Democrats took credit. Joe Biden did that. No, Joe Biden didn't do it. It just happened to go through when Joe Biden was there. Same thing about the Civil Rights Act. The Republicans were the ones who actually did the Civil Rights Act, and the Democrats just jumped in there later And then when it passed under the Democrats, they jumped in there and said, oh, look what we did for the black people, look for the black community. Knowing good and well, they didn't. They didn't do any of it for the black community. It was Republicans, just like today. Republicans are the one actually doing something positive for the United States of America. And then what the Democrats will do, just like every time in the past in history, they will try to adopt what the Republicans have done as their own to tell the American people, look what we've done. That's why I've constantly put it out there asking, what have the Democrats done for this country? Just name one thing that the Democrats have done that all of America has benefited from it. I mean, it's a simple question. And for the life of me, I can't think of anything because I can't find anything. I mean, as a whole. Now, the Democrats, they'll come out and they'll say they're going to do stuff for black people, for Hispanics, for women. They say these things, but they actually don't ever do anything. It's like every 2 to 4 years, they come and tickle the ear of the black people, and the black people continue to vote for these Democrats. It's the same thing. It's a vicious cycle. They believe doing the same thing over and over and over is going to give them different results. Well, anyways, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. If you haven't already, please bless me by hitting the thumbs up, hit the heart, share this video. Let's get it out there. One day, just maybe one day, the censorship will come to an end. Maybe just one day, the censorship will stop. And then they will just allow people to speak freely. But talking about speaking freely, I don't know if y'all seen, I don't even think I put it on I did put it on YouTube. So I took this picture, and I don't have it here. I took this picture and I just put audio with it. And this is with me standing on an anti-American flag. It's anti-American flag. It's not American flag. It's the anti-American flag. And I'm standing on this flag. I'm not doing anything malicious or anything bad. I'm just standing on this, this flag that is anti-American. I happened to get it when I was in LA one time at one of the anti-American protests, because I show up to those quite often. I used to, at least. And I would show up to this anti-American rally that was in LA, California. And this flag just kind of blew in the wind, kind of blew down by my legs. Oh, what is this? I'm like, oh, what is this? So I picked it up, and I've had it for years. And some people tell me I should burn the flag. Some people say I should rip it up. Well, if I were to burn it and rip it up, I wouldn't be able to have it today to stand on it. I put it out on the street and took a picture of it with me standing on it. And can you imagine how they reacted? It says anti-fascist on it. That's what it says on there. But the group that flag belongs to, they're the main ones trying to take away freedoms from everybody in the country. They don't want you to believe a certain way. They will come after you. If you think a certain way, they'll come after you. If you vote for a certain person, they'll come after you. Right? And they all try to say that they're not violent. And President Trump, thank God, about time, has designated Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization. It's about time. I kind of wish he would have done it in his first time, but nonetheless, it's a done deal. It's happened. It's happened. So now I'm standing on the flag, but the reason why I took the picture standing on the flag, because all of these people on the left coming out there saying it's not a real organization. They're not organized. They don't have a building anywhere. They don't have a leader. Like some of the other groups that what they're trying to say is terrorist organizations, those on the right. They say they don't have a spokesperson. But did you know Antifa has a soccer team? But there's no organization, according to them. They said Antifa is just a myth. It's just an idea. But there's no flag, apparently. But I'm just happen to be standing on that flag. Make it make sense. All of them try to act like it's not even there, it doesn't even exist, but they will come out and defend them. Big as day. And the biggest catcher about all of this, because they say there's no organization, they're just a group of people with a mindset of taking away fascists. How is it that they show up all in the same black? They call them black bloc. How is it they all show up in there? Who gave them the memo to show up at a certain location, like an ICE facility, at the same time or the same day? Who gives them that? How are they getting that if they're not an organization? See, they expect us to believe this nonsense and they put it out there. And the reason why they put it out there, because all the leftist liberals that refuse to think for themselves will continue to believe it. That's what that's all about. But let's get to the main thing here. President Trump on top of the world. Yes, I said it. President Trump is on top of the world. And of course, the Democrats can't stand it. Can't stand it. They can't stand it. President Trump is on top of the world. President Trump went overseas to the Middle East, Israel, Egypt, and he was able to bring the world together. And now, to my understanding, he's working to deal with China. He gets the deal done with China, it's going to be pretty much game over for the Democrats. I think the Democrats just hoping that China will do something extremely dramatic just to bring turmoil to the planet. You know what? Before I play this, something I was thinking about yesterday, that the Democrats lost an opportunity. The past 4 years, they had the opportunity. Now, mind you, they did try, but they did it to the point to where they were trying to not look guilty. But we all saw it. For the most part, we all saw it. Those of us with active brain cells, we all saw it, that they were trying to destroy the country. They lost an opportunity to just flat out destroy it. They really did, because that's their goal, to destroy the United States of America. How do I know this? Well, look what they brought into the country. That is not to build up a country. That is to tear a country down. Look what they were allowing to happen in the country. That's not to build up a country. It's to tear a country down. And I'm talking about the Democrats. Now we have President Trump, the tariffs, bringing money into the country. We have President Trump locking down the border. President Trump stopping the trafficking of children and drugs into the country, for the most part. And you've seen the boats come across the water, and the Democrats are mad about how dare he stop those drugs from coming into America. They're supposed to get due process first. We don't negotiate with terrorists. That's the reason why the Democrats are upset, because the Republicans not negotiating with them. Well, listen to this. This was on News Nation with Chris Cuomo, of all people. Chris Cuomo, I'm telling y'all, just like Stephen A., that light bulb is coming on and it's starting to shine bright. How long it's going to stay on, I don't know. Maybe it'll stay on indefinitely, which would be awesome, but that remains to be seen. I want y'all to listen to what's being said here, because President Trump is on top of the world. I'm telling you.
No Democrats have acknowledged this. I think it's symptomatic, frankly, of the problem in our politics. This happened because of Trump. It happened because he pushed Netanyahu. It's a very pro-Israeli deal, but the prime minister really did not want to go there. And he convinced the Qataris and the Turks, Hamas's key supporters, other than the Iranians, who aren't much value to Hamas these days, that it was in their best interest to give up the hostages. Whether this goes further is going to depend on the president owning this. You could have 100. I've been at these ceremonies in Sharm, in Cairo, everywhere. It's the morning after the peace conference that the real work has to start. And if President Trump is prepared to show the will and the skill that he demonstrated in pushing this over the line, you might even get to an end of the war in Gaza.
Might even get to an end of the war in Gaza. As of right now, with no one taking anybody, doing anything harm to anybody, it's really looking really good. It's looking really good. Can you imagine Rashida Tlaib right now? I haven't heard a statement from her since President Trump was there with other Arab nations, all of them signing this agreement, this peace deal. I haven't heard anything from Rashida Tlaib or even Ilhan Omar. Haven't heard anything from them. I can only imagine that they're extremely upset. See, they rather the people in the Gaza Strip to continue to lose their lives because it's a narrative that they're pushing. They're all about it. They would rather them lose their lives than to have peace in the Middle East. This is how much they hate President Trump and how much they hate Israel. Here's another one I want to share with you, and this was on the Communist News Network. When you have liberal media outlets giving kudos to President Trump. And look, they still don't like Trump. Don't get me wrong. The left, they can't stand Trump with no end. TDS is a real thing. And it's really killing them to have to say anything positive about President Trump. But you can't ignore what he just did. You can't ignore it. They want it to be ignored, but they can't because the entire world is looking. This is a historical moment. 3,000 years. 3,000 years. President Trump called it out yesterday. He said this is a moment that people have been waiting to see for 3,000 years. And let me remind you, Israel have the red heifers. Let me remind you, Israel is ready to build the third temple. Let me remind you that we now have a European Union. President Trump said yesterday that he's created a peace group. And I forget exactly the term that he used. He created this peace group, and all of the nations are rushing to be a part of it. Every last one of them. They're rushing to join. Every last one of them. Rushing to join it. I'm like, yeah, who doesn't want peace? And see, if they don't want to join, while everybody else is wanting to join it, they're going to be like, dude, why do you want to continue to fight? I mean, seriously, why do you want to continue to fight? There's so much more. If we could unite on this planet, we could achieve so much more. But that actual unite of the entire planet is not going to come until Jesus Christ returns. Let's be clear about that, okay? Because as long as President Trump is president and the Democrats are still against reality, we're not going to have, and I'm just talking about the United States of America aspect, just America. We're not going to be united. Because see, the Democrats, for the most part, they reject God. And again, like I said, they're happy what happened here, but they still don't like Trump. TDS is still real. They're having mixed emotions about all of this.
Well, I think President Trump needs to know that we really thank him. And it was hard for us to say it in advance because we couldn't really believe that was true. 20 hostages are actually coming. All of them are alive. All of them look good. And the fact that he made it, he promised and he kept his word, and hostages are here, is just amazing. And we want to thank him for that.
The hostages are home. I think it said, I forget how many days, 700 and something days. There's not a living hostage in the Gaza Strip right now. Not a single one. That is amazing. It's amazing. It is amazing to see that happen. When I first saw this yesterday and what they were saying about President Trump, I was actually getting some goosebumps yesterday. You know what? Let me play one of the videos that made me get those goosebumps from yesterday. And this actually came after I did my 11 o'clock show here on the Central Time. So let me go back. I'm going to go to that really quick. This was yesterday. And I saw this yesterday and I'm like, oh, wow, this is really amazing. So I want to pull this up for you because I think everybody should see this video clip. Because when they actually said it, what this young man said, and he was talking about President Trump, when he said what he said, me myself was like at awe. I mean, really, because President Trump, again, he has achieved the unthinkable. He has done something that no one ever thought would happen in our lifetime. And here's a discussion that I want y'all to think about. Because, like I mentioned, the red heifer, the Israelis have a red heifer, and for those of you that don't know what a red heifer is, it's basically a red cow, and the red heifer can't have any blemishes on it, can't have any nothing wrong with it, no deformities. It has to look and appear to be a perfect red cow. And they actually have some. And rumors has it is that they've already made a sacrifice with one of these red cows. They need the ashes because it's their custom. It's not ours as Christians. As Christians, we know that Jesus Christ was the ultimate sacrifice. But in the Jewish religion, in the community, they believe that they still need to make these sacrifices. And they have not had a red heifer in over 2,000 years. Over 2,000 years. And all of this is happening right now. And a lot of people go, well, you know, the rapture is getting ready to happen like any second now. Any second. But according to scripture, it's not going to happen. I know somebody watching right now don't like to hear me say that. And it's not me saying it. And it's not me saying it. It's the Bible saying it. And that's the most interesting thing about this, is that people get upset with me because of what the Bible says. And I'm just believing the Bible. But anyways, that's a whole nother tantrum. We can get into that later. But I want y'all to listen to what this man was saying about President Trump. And for the sake of time, I'm just going to go down here to the end of it. Listen to what he says about Trump.
Their lives. And today, here in Sharm el-Sheikh, achieving peace in Gaza is saving millions of lives in the Middle East. Mr. President, I would like to salute you for your exemplary leadership, visionary leadership. And I think that you're the man this world needed most at this point in time. World would always remember you.
Did you hear what he just said? Did you hear what he just said? Can you imagine the left, all of the entire left hated to just hear that. I'm going to take it back just in case you missed it. The entire left hates to hear that. But you know who I believe is on the planet that hates to hear that too? The Antichrist. The Antichrist just heard that and they can't stand it. Why? Because President Trump is getting the limelight that the Antichrist wants. Listen to it again.
Exemplary leadership, visionary leadership. And I think that you're the man this world needed most at this point in time.
Wow. Wow. He says, you are the man that this world needs at this point in time. What? 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 How amazing is that? Can y'all imagine if President Trump wasn't back in the White House? Oh my goodness, dude. None of this would be happening. The positive things that we're seeing happening in the world would not be happening. They didn't happen the past 4 years. Why do you think all of a sudden that they would happen? And I'm telling you right now, without me even seeing these leftist lunatic liberals say it, they're all saying right now, trying to figure out how to give the credit to somebody else. They really are. These leftist lunatics are trying to give the credit. They're trying to figure it out, but they can't. They can't give credit to somebody else. We have to give credit where credit is due. I want y'all to listen to this. This was on C-SPAN. This was C-SPAN, a liberal Democrat calls in to C-SPAN talking about what just happened and what President Trump just did. This is the reason why the most radical leftist lunatic liberals are trying to figure out how to stop this. Listen.
Democrat, good morning. What'd you think of the speech?
Yes, hi. That was I'm going to get choked up. A momentous speech. And I'm a conservative Democrat living here in New York, where this example of bringing peace to everyone should be thought of in New York City, where out of ignorance, the people are about to elect a guy who's pro-terrorist, pro-Hamas, who's friends with his is people in Uganda, a country that lawfully executes people for being gay. And this should be a wake-up call to everyone that people can live together. I go back. I worked as a young man for Humphrey and for McGovern and became more conservative as I've gotten older. But this was like the best. You know, he does it in his own style. We actually live pretty close to where he grew up. And, you know, New Yorkers like Bernie Sanders are sort of different. They're funny. They're abrasive sometimes. But it should be a lesson to all of us that we can all live together. I think the future, if the Gazans really accept the goodness and the money that's going to come from the Arab community and from the world community, it can be a different world. And I'm sorry for being so emotional, but it's a great moment in history for everyone. And we have to reject hate. We have to reject Antifa. We have to reject Mandami. And we have to come together as human beings. I'm an old guy. Life is short. And we should live it with love. All right, thank you.
That's Philip in New York.
Wow. Wow. How do you stop what President Trump has done? How do you stop it? When you have, like I mentioned a minute ago, liberal media outlets praising President Trump for what he's done. I mean, how do you stop this? They're losing their minds right now. And I've already seen Democrats, you know, a couple months ago, even a year ago, how some of these Democrats go try to say President Trump is the Antichrist, trying to get us as Christians to turn our back on President Trump. They try to say President Trump is a king when we know that he's president, trying to get us to turn our backs on President Trump. They lie about President Trump, and they don't understand why it's not sticking. But they do not know how to stop President Trump. They've even tried to permanently sleep Trump. And since they couldn't permanently sleep him, they're at a loss right now. The Democrat Party is like on the verge of total collapse. And I want them to collapse because they don't serve any purpose. Cockroaches have more of a purpose than Democrats. I mean, cockroaches actually have a purpose. Democrats don't. Listen to Chris Cuomo here. And again, it's like the light bulb is coming on for a lot of these people.
First, the easy part. I didn't think it was going to happen. Bravo to America. Bravo to the Trump administration. Bravo to President Trump, especially something I really didn't expect. What I thought was just going to be a regular Trump victory lap. He brought in so many countries to celebrate this. Why? Because they made it happen? Nope. But because he needs them to make what needs to happen next happen. Very smart. Very smart. Now, why is that hard to say? Because in our politics, you cannot recognize the other side. It is like saying Hitler has a nice haircut. You can't do it. And that's why we're dying. That is the poison. Not here. Not News Nation. Here, we do not take a side. I attack the idea of sides.
He didn't say that when he was at CNN. He wasn't saying that at all at CNN. It's like ever since he left CNN, he started slowly but surely started waking up to it, started recognizing what was happening. It just slowly started happening. And it's almost like the light bulb is just shining bright with him now. I mean, he even clapped for Trump. This is Chris Cuomo, left-leaning, borderline socialist Chris Cuomo. So kudos to Chris Cuomo. I'm not mad at him. It's like, thank you for actually waking up. You know, when we see the events taking place in our lives right now, and for years I've constantly talked about how we're living in the last days. I mean, I've talked about it for years because of different things that I was seeing. And now that President Trump has created this group, and I'm going to play that for you. This is what President Trump said yesterday. President Trump created this peace group, and all of them wanting to join it. And I believe, and they even asked President Trump, will he be the chairman of it? And he kind of like snickered at it and kind of, you know, when President Trump doesn't, if President Trump wants to do something, he'll go, or if he even thinks about it or entertain it, he'll say, I'll think about it. Or he'll go, we'll see what happens. But in this case, he kind of snickered at it and kind of blew it off. Like, no, that's not something I want to do. Maybe y'all catch on to it. Watch this.
Actually, in stage 3 and 4, it's not going to be, you know, just divided down so simply. We can be long advanced on some of the things that we say we're going to do. We can take them out of order in a positive way. And we've shown how it can be done with responsible nations like the people in this room, these incredible people in this room, setting aside their differences, seeking common ground, and pursuing a better world for all of us. And that spirit's my dream, that we all get together and enjoy our life. And we're going to put some of you on the board of peace. Everybody wants to be on the board of peace. They said, would you be the chairman? I say, I'm pretty busy too. But whatever we can do to have peace in the Middle East, it's worth it. But everybody wants to go on the board of peace, so we're probably going to enlarge it. We're going to get, and the leaders, the top people, the top leaders, they want to be on the board of peace. A beautiful term. At first I wasn't sure, and then I realized how beautiful it is. And for the people of Gaza, the focus now must be on restoring the basics of a good life.
Did you hear it? Did you hear it?
On the board of peace.
The board of peace.
Everybody wants to be on the board of peace.
The board of peace.
Said, would you be the chairman? I say, I'm pretty busy too. But whatever we can do to have peace in the Middle East, it's worth it. But everybody wants to go on the board of peace. So
everybody wants to go on the board of peace. President Trump came up with it, the board of peace, and all of them are rushing to get on the board of peace. All of them rushing to get on the board of peace. Me personally, because I always wondered, is it going to be that the United Nations, because, you know, of course, all of these demonic world leaders, they're going to say that the United Nations need to lead this up, the board of peace, because supposedly, the United Nations, the UN, was created to bring peace in the world. Before the United Nations, they had the League of Nations, and not all of the nations got on board with it because they were like, no, we don't want to be part of the League of Nations. Well, that didn't work out. Then World War II came. League of Nations were created after World War I. World War II came. Then the United Nations came. And they say, okay, that's it. We have to create a United Nations, and we got to force all of these countries to be part of the United Nations. But the United Nations has been 100% anti-Israel. The United Nations has been 100% anti-God. And they've actually opened up some different stuff for this thing called MAPS. Some of y'all know what that means. The United Nations is all about it. It's pure evil. And here's President Trump talking about the board of peace. The board of peace. So this is just my personal opinion on this. You can take it for whatever it is you want. But my personal opinion on this is that the Antichrist is going to be all in the board of peace, because the Antichrist has to be the one to look like he's actually bringing peace to the world. Now, I don't think the conflict is over with completely. I think some other stuff, something dramatic might just happen. And the reason why I say that, because of what the Bible says. Because there's going to be a war that's going to come from the Euphrates River that's going to eliminate 1/3 of mankind. This is what the Bible says. It's not Will Johnson saying it. Now, does that happen before or after they start doing the temple. I don't know. The Bible doesn't tell us. It's not really clear. But we know that's going to happen at some point. But the Antichrist needs to have some kind of mechanism, some kind of pathway to go in there to make it look like he's trying to bring peace. And it's not Trump, because according to the Bible, the Antichrist, along with the false prophet, will come from the European Union. It's clear as day. But, a lot of people, they don't want to hear that. They don't want to acknowledge it. Some people think, oh, he's going to be a Muslim. Where does it say that? Show us. I've looked for it. It's not in the Bible. I guess it might be in the Queen James Version, but it's not in the King James Version. I haven't read the Queen James. Not going to either. Not going to. It's an abomination. But President Trump created the Board of Peace, and he just said it. All of the nations are wanting to join it. And how many of y'all said that the world would never get to this point? How many of y'all said that we would be out of here? The rapture would be gone. The rapture would have taken place before we got this close to having peace in the world and to having them do an agreement. Now, they haven't said how long the peace agreement is that was just signed. I didn't hear if there's like a time period, because a lot of times when they do deals, they do agreements, there's like, okay, for such and such time, we need to have this happen and we need to have that happen. They didn't lay out all of the details that was agreed upon in the agreement. Who's to say that it wasn't 7 years? Who's to say it? Because according to the Bible, the Antichrist is going to go into the temple and declare himself God halfway through. And then sudden destruction will come, according to the Bible. But a lot of people, and again, not to argue with anybody, we're all Christians, we're not promised tomorrow. A lot of people say, Will Johnson, we're not going to even be here. We're not going to be here. We don't need to worry about all of that. It doesn't say that anywhere in the Bible. That is a belief that's been pushed down for years. It doesn't say it anywhere in the Bible. And a lot of people believe that is the case because they say, we're not appointed to God's wrath, Will Johnson. And I say, you're absolutely right. We're not appointed to God's wrath. Those of us that are a body of Christ, we are not appointed to God's wrath. But let me ask you the question. Is the tribulation God's wrath or is it Satan's wrath? Is the Antichrist going to be doing terrible things during the tribulation, or is God going to be doing terrible things? See, the Antichrist is not my God. And the Bible tells us who's going to be doing terrible things during the tribulation. Is it God doing terrible things or is it the Antichrist? I'm just kind of curious. Is anyone willing to put that answer into the comments? What do y'all think? Who's going to be doing terrible things during the Great Tribulation? Is it God? I'm just asking a question here. As Christians, we shouldn't be fighting one another. I've actually lost friends. I've had people send me messages say, Will Johnson, how dare you? Over the rapture. I kid you not. I kid you not. When I always made it clear that we're not promised tomorrow. We're not even promised the rest of the day. So we may not even be here tomorrow to see tomorrow, let alone to see the rapture. You understand what I'm saying? So for us to argue on when the rapture is going to happen, really? As Christians, really, that's what we're going to argue about? I've had a lot of people upset with me. A lot of people would be upset with me. And another thing I was thinking about, Jesus, imagine everything that Jesus went through for all of us. It'll be nothing. The tribulation is nothing compared to what Jesus went through for every single man, woman, and child on this planet. He took on every sin. He took on every disease. He took on everything. He took on everything that every man and woman before he walked on earth and after he stepped off of earth. You understand? He took on everything. So the tribulation is nothing compared to what our Lord Jesus Christ has went through for us. And people, and look, and I get it. People are scared. People are scared. They want to believe that the tribulation is God's wrath. And I really don't understand that one. You know, but other than this, it's just fear. A lot of people are fearful. And I'm telling you right now, there's people watching me right now don't like the fact of what I'm saying right now. Now, look, I'm not on here to try to argue with you, to fight with you, because again, as the body of Christ, we need to be together, right? I don't think Jesus meant for us to get angry with one another because of when we think the rapture will happen, when he's made it clear that we're not promised tomorrow. You understand my point, right? All I'm saying is just if you believe that the rapture is going to happen any second now, and before the tribulation, can you just show me where it says that God's wrath is the tribulation? I would like to see that, because I've looked for it. It's not there. But if you see it, you know, I mean, by all means, show. And a lot of people go, well, this is what it means. I mean, really, this is what it means? I mean, then you can say anything mean anything. But when you go see God's wrath, it tells you that God's wrath, when that happens. But the tribulation, where does it say that the tribulation is God's wrath? Who's going to be doing terrible things during tribulation? That's a better question. Who's going to be doing terrible things during tribulation? Right? But guess what? We're not at that stage yet. We're not there yet. One thing that is absolutely wonderful and that's happened right now, President Trump has done the unthinkable. And the left, just like demons everywhere, are very angry right now. Democrats are very angry right now because of the achievements President Trump has done. And the Democrats here in America, you know what they're working on right now? They're working on how they can tear down this country even more. This is what they're working on. They still got the country shut down. You have all of the Republicans, minus one, Rand Paul, all of the Republicans saying open the government, and all of the Democrats, minus one, well, there's three now, saying that we need to open the government up. But other than that, all the Democrats, and now the Democrats, in my understanding, the Democrats are saying, well, we're going to make sure it stay closed until after the 18th, because they want to have their No Kings event this Saturday. This Saturday is the No Kings event. And I plan on going. And just like every time, people sometimes, and I don't even ask people anymore to go with me because a lot of people are scared, and I get it. People are scared because the left is extremely violent. And so I don't even ask people to attend with me any longer. I plan on going to Austin. I plan on going to the event in Austin, Texas this Saturday. And the only king that we have is Jesus. Jesus is king and Trump is our president. But the radical left, just like I was talking yesterday, the Democrats believe Trump is king. They believe it. They keep calling him king. They go, but no, Will Johnson, they're saying no kings. Well, who are you referring to then? So I'm gonna ask this question come Saturday. If you say no kings, who are you referring to as king? Because Trump is our president. I really want to know. I really want to know. 100% want to know. Filter Dog, thank you so much for the gold pills. And Filter Dog, thank you. You know what? That's Filter Dog. I mean, dude, you're on it. This is Filter Dog on pill.net. He sent me some gold pills, blessed me with gold pills. It's like the Facebook stars, but they're gold pills on pill.net. And Filter Dog said this: God's wrath was put on his son, Jesus, at the cross. Why would we be exempt? Come on now. He put his own son went to the cross, but we're exempt. We get a pass. Thank you, Filter Dog. Thank you. But how much? Just think about it. Are we with God or are we not with God? Do we stand with God? Do we actually believe in God, or do we not? Bill, thank you so much for becoming an amazing supporter on YouTube. Bill, thank you so much. I see you. Thank you so much for subscribing to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you. So, and again, look. We're Christians. The whole point of us being Christians is to remember that we are the body of Christ. We have bigger issues than trying to fight each other about when we're going to leave the planet. I might not even be here tomorrow. You understand what I'm saying? I'm tired of losing friends because we have a disagreement about the rapture. You understand? Okay. That's it for me, everybody. Thank you so much. Hey, just over 1 hour from right now, Culture Wars. You can go to my website. On Culture Wars, and you can see it here. Let me remove that really quick. That banner down at the bottom there. So if you go to my website, uniteamericafirst.com, and let me put the address. Let me put the link up here. uniteamericafirst.com. Go to my website. And you can see right there at the top of the page, you just have to scroll down a little bit. You can see right there where you can get the t-shirts, you can support me. And just below that, you can see, if my screen will ever come up, you can see what my next show, here we go. Right there, my next show, Culture Wars, right there in the middle. Make sure y'all tune in. 1 hour, 1 o'clock Central Time, 2 o'clock on the East Coast. Culture Wars on LFA TV. You don't want to miss it. You make sure you want to tune in. It's gonna be off the hook. I'm gonna have some stuff that I'm gonna show you there that I can't show you here, just because of this free speech is allowed there more so than here. I'm just saying. Not on X. X American News is 100% free speech. I just happen to be going live on YouTube and Facebook too, and I like to keep my page and channel. I'm just saying. So go to uniteamericafirst.com, check it out. And also, don't forget, for those of you that still want to help me out, help me reach President Trump over big tech tyranny. And hopefully President Trump would get the letter. This is the letter that I wrote to President Trump. You just go there, click on the PDF, download the PDF, print it, and mail it. Put a stamp on it, mail it in. Your letter just might be the one to make it to President Trump's desk. And whoever letter makes it there, I'm going to tell I'm going to make it known to that person. I'm going to tell the entire world, this person, whoever it is, because you sign it on there and you send it in, because I'm going to ask President Trump, which letter made it to you? Which letter made it to you? So please, uniteamericafirst.com, do that. I would greatly appreciate it. And really quick, if you want to support me and you like the t-shirt, here's my new t-shirt right here. Jesus is King. And it's a beautiful shirt. Look at that. So beautiful. Jesus is King. Right there. You can get that on my website, uniteamericafirst.com. Just click on shop merch and you'll see it. Jesus is King. And the fine print says, Trump is your president. Trump is our president. Gotta love it. All right, everybody. That is it for me. Thank you so much. God bless you. And also, today should be a national holiday for Charlie Kirk's birthday. We made a national holiday for Martin Luther King. I say we make a national holiday for Charlie Kirk. I'm saying it. And I'm wearing my red today in recognition of Charlie Kirk's birthday. That's why I'm red. I'm all red today. I just want to make sure I say that before I get off. God bless everyone. See you in 1 hour. Take care. Trump is on top of the world.